Hello students, how are you all? My name is Zibanas. I am handling the science subject of class 5th standard. Let's start with the chapter. The lesson number 6. The chapter name is air. From this name air, we need to learn about air in this chapter. Let's go with an introduction part. What we need to learn in this chapter. Okay. We need to learn the existence of air through the experiments. With the help of some experiments, we need to learn that is air exists everywhere. And we need to learn about the components of air. And we need to understand the characteristics of air through the experiments. What are the characteristics of air? With the help of experiments, we need to learn about this. Then understand the use of air, where it is used, and discuss about air pollution, their causes, effects, and remedies. In this chapter, you need to learn these all things. Okay? Existence of air with some experiments, components of air, characteristics of air, understand the uses of air, and discuss about air pollution, their causes, effects, and remedies. Now, let's start with the chapter. Students, what is air? See, air, you will say that air is not visible, but you can sense it, right? The presence of air can be felt. This you say it. So, air is one of the natural resource. Air is one of the natural resource. The earth is surrounded by the layer of air called as atmosphere. What it is? Called atmosphere. The earth is surrounded by the layer of air and it is called as atmosphere. We can say that air is a mixture of many gases. It is very essential for sustaining life of living beings. Air is very essential. See, we human beings breathe. What we do, we take air in and leaves out air, right? Without air we cannot live, so it is very essential for sustaining life of living beings. Air is a mixture of many gases and it is very essential for living of living beings. Air is not visible but its presence can be felt. See, this is a picture of earth's atmosphere. See, it is a layer of air. The layer of air is called as atmosphere. It is a layer of air. It is called as atmosphere. This is the definition of air. Now, see how much percentage of gas it has, we can learn with this. Air is a mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water gases, water vapors, noble gas, and dust particles. Okay. The major component, that is nitrogen. Nitrogen is 78%. In the atmosphere, air 78% of gas is nitrogen and 21% of gas is oxygen. Carbon dioxide is 0.04%. Water vapors, noble gases, and dust particle is 0.09 percentage. Okay, this is the percentage of gases present in the air. The major component of air is nitrogen. Major component, the most large area of air component is what? Nitrogen. How much percentage it is? That is 98 percentage. Carbon dioxide is the least component of air. It is about 0.04 percentage. Less carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Air contains very less carbon dioxide. Okay, air is a mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapors, noble gases, and dust particle. This is a figure in which you can see that 78 percentage of nitrogen, 21 percentage of oxygen, and other gases it is about 1%, in which noble gases is 0.93% and carbon dioxide is 0.04 percentage. Okay, these are the mixture of, that is, components of air. Now, air content oxygen. Why do we use this oxygen? See, we use oxygen in the air for respiration. We use what? Oxygen for respiration purpose. We cannot live without respiration. Can we live without respiration? No. If we do not respire, we will die. So we use oxygen in air for respiration. Animals and plants need oxygen for respiration. Oxygen is necessary for burning the fuels. It is very necessary for burning the fuels. This is one of the uses of oxygen. Now, let us conduct some experiments to show that there is a presence of air. The first experiment in this is, see, can you see this picture, students? Here you see, there is a burning candle. Okay, when we invert a glass onto the burning candle, what happens? The flames goes off slowly. The flame of the candle goes off slowly. Why the flame is getting off? Because we are closing a lid to it, and the presence of air, which air, that is presence of oxygen, helps in burning the fuel, right? Now what happens, it uses how presence of oxygen that is present. After some time there will be no presence of air, and the candle gets off. Okay, on a lightning candle, a glass will be inverted. After some time the candle gets extinguished. The reason for this will be discussed here. The candle gets extinguished as oxygen present in the glass was used up, and after some time there was absence of oxygen in the glass, right? In the glass there is an absence of oxygen. As candle needs oxygen to burn, it blows off after some time. This is one experiment, that is presence of air. Which air it is present inside? That is oxygen. Oxygen is needed for burning of your candle. Oxygen is needed for burning of your candle. If there is no oxygen in the air, what happens? The candle blew off. Okay, this is the first experiment, that is presence of air. Let's go for a second experiment. This is a fricky. You have played, I think almost all the students have played the fricky, right? This is a fricky. Hold the stick of the fricky and place it in different directions in an open area. What you will do, you will hold the stick of the fricky and place it in the different directions in an open area. Making a simple fricky, move it little back and forth. Observe what happened. The fricky rotates, right? The fricky gets rotated. How it is rotating? Because there is a air in the atmosphere which is helping this fricky to rotate. What makes the fricky to rotate? That is moving air. Moving air helps to rotate the fricky. This shows the presence of air. This is a small experiment. You can do it in your home also, that there is a presence of air in the atmosphere, or air in the atmosphere. Now let's go for a third experiment. What you are doing here, we are crumpling the paper. One paper, a crumpled paper will be kept at the bottom of the glass. We are taking one glass, we are crumpling the paper and putting it to the bottom of the glass. Now the glass will be inverted in the bucket of water, or in a glass will be inverted in the bucket of water. After a minute the glass will be taken and the paper will be shown. After few minutes, what you will do, the glass will be taken up and the paper will be shown. The paper won't turn wet. The paper won't turn wet. Why this is, students? We are putting the water into it, but the paper won't turn, because the reason behind the paper not getting wet is the presence of air in the glass, which enables the water to enter into the glass. Presence of air in the glass which enables the water to enter in the glass. Hence the paper doesn't turn wet. This is one in which we can show that air is present everywhere. Okay, you can also do many experiments for the presence of air. Okay, these I have shown you three experiments where air is present. Now let's learn the characteristics of air. What are the characteristics of air? Some of the characteristics of air are: air has weight. Air has weight. Air helps things to burn. Air helps things to burn. Then air occupies space. What it does? Air occupies space. See, these are the some examples which helps to learn about the characteristics. These are some experiments which helps to learn the characteristics of air. So first, let's go with a particular first experiment, that is air has weight. How do you show that air has weight? We are taking a stick to weigh, that is two balloons. Okay, at one side one balloon will fix and another side another balloon will fix. With the same size we will fill it with water. Okay, after some time what you will do, you will take one balloon will be same size, another balloon, what you will do, you will remove that water and put it. What happens? The stick starts bending towards the weighing. It starts bending down. Stick starts bending down towards the balloon which is filled with water. So from this experiment we can say that air has weight. Okay, which is heavier, which is filled with water, which is lighter, it lighter, what happens, it turn to upwards. Okay, this shows that air has weight. Now, second characteristics, air helps things to burn. See, in this picture, one lady, what she's doing, in the oven, she's blowing the air to burn the fire. She's blowing the air to burn the fire to cook her food. See what she's doing in the oven. What happens here? Or it releases carbon dioxide. When we blow the air, we release carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide helps to burn the air, helps to burn the things. Okay, so what she's doing, she's blowing the air in the oven to cook the food. This is one example that air helps things to burn. Then another one, air occupies space. Air occupies space. See, one example is there, the girl is blowing the balloon. What happens when she is blowing the balloon? How much the size of balloon is there, that much air is filled inside the balloon. What, how much space the balloon is, that much space it occupies. See how she's blowing the balloon, air is occupying inside the balloon, that is it occupies space. Okay, these are the three characteristics. This is very important, students. That is, what are the characteristics of air? Air has weight. Air helps the things to burn. Air occupies space. These are the characteristics of air. Now let's go with another thing, that is wind. The moving air is called as wind. The moving air is called as wind, and this wind has large kind of energy, which has enormous energy. The moving air is called as wind and it has enormous energy. If there is a heavy wind blowing, the roof of the house are carried away as the wind has enormous energy. See, some examples I'll give you. When there is a heavy wind blowing, the roof of the house can also be carried away. The roof of the house also be carried away. That is, it has enormous energy. Due to the high rate of energy, due to the high rate of energy present in the wind, what happens? It carries all the things. Okay, while walking on the street, sometimes we feel that wind pushes us because wind has energy. Okay, wind has energy, so we will feel that. See in this picture, there is a heavy wind and peoples are pushing backward because Wind has enormous energy. See, wind in this picture, there is a heavy wind in which that is roof of the house is gone off. This is because of that is heavy wind. Then clothes hang up to dry with dry will flutter when the wind blows. See how the clothes are fluttering with the help of wind, because wind has enormous amount of energy. Clothes are fluttering. We need to put a clip to the clothes, otherwise it will fly off. This is because it has enormous amount of energy. Okay, we can give lot of examples with for the wind. I have given 3 examples. Here another examples are kites fly in the sky. With the help of wind only the kites fly. If there is no wind, the kites cannot fly. Then coconut tree swings in the strong wind. Okay, what they will do, the coconut tree swings, the coconut tree is swinging with the wind. The coconut tree is swinging. See, can you see the picture? The kite is, see, can you see this picture? The coconut trees are swinging with the help of wind. Okay, when there is a heavy wind, all trees start swinging. This is because of enormous energy present in the wind. Okay, now let's go with the air pollution. Let's go with the air pollution. What is air pollution? Air is polluted by smoke released by factories, automobiles, burning of substances, and crackers. See, okay? Air is polluted. See, air has to be very pure. It is getting polluted. Air is polluted. How it is polluted? By releasing that is carbon dioxide gas and excess of gas. This released by the factories, automobiles, burning of substances, and crackers. Burning of substances and crackers. Mixing of chemical substances, dust, microorganisms which are harmful to men and other organisms into the air is called as air pollution. What is air pollution, students? Mixing chemical substances, dust, microorganisms which are harmful to men and other organisms into the air is called as air pollution. See, can you see in this picture what is happening? Release of all chemicals from the industry. See, it is going into the air. See how dirty it is, full of dust and smoke. It is releasing into the air. Can you see this picture? How dirty it is looking. See, all automobiles are releasing that is smoke. From the back side, automobile is releasing smoke, which is very harmful to our human beings. Here you see, we are burning lot of substances which release that is lot of carbon dioxide. In this picture, these are the 3 pictures which causes that is air pollution. This is very harmful to our men, and it causes that is due to this release of this smoke, the air is polluted, and we get lot of things like skin diseases, and air gets polluted, and we will be unable to breathe. Okay, now air gets polluted when the chemical and microparticles of smoke from the industries and vehicles mixes up with it. Okay, industries, all this get mixes with the air, it gets polluted. It causes that is serious health issues like heart disease, cancer, breathing problem. What it does, it causes that is health issues to us, like heart disease, cancer, breathing problems, etc. It also affects the growth of plants and their yield. It also affects the growth of plant, because plants also respire. If the plants and animals take this dirty air, what happens? Some plants can get, that is, some plants will die off with this dirty air. Since all organisms need air, it is necessary to prevent, that is, air pollution. It is very necessary to prevent air pollution because all the organisms needs air. This was about, that is, air pollution. Now, what are the measurements? What are the measures to prevent, that is, air pollution? What are the measures to prevent, that is, air pollution? First is preventing the mixing up of chemicals, wastage discharged by factories with the air. We need to prevent, that is, mixing of all chemicals from the factories, mixing up of all chemicals discharged from the factories with the air. See, you need to prevent, that is, air should be very pure. Okay, all these chemicals that is coming out of the factory should not be left into the air. You need to prevent it. Then installing, that is, if there are some industries, you need to install tall chimneys in the factories so that the smoke can be released at the higher altitude. What we need to do, if there are industries and factories, the tall chimneys should be given out. Okay, so that the smoke that is released, the smoke will be full of chemicals. Okay, the smoke that is released should be at higher altitude. It should directly go into the atmosphere, that is, it should not come to the contact of air. Now, using gaseous fuels instead of coal, diesel and petrol. Instead of coal, diesel and petrol, this coal, diesel and petrol consist of that of lot of carbon dioxide. So you should use, that is, gas fuels. Then using, that is, public transport. Public transport means what? Instead of car, which releases, that is, which we are using with the help of petrol, you can use, that is, cycles to go from one place to another, that is using public transport. Using alternative energy sources like solar energy does not release any carbon dioxide, does not release any chemicals. So this is the alternate use of fuels: solar energy, hydroelectric power and wind power. You can use these alternative sources of energy to prevent, that is, air pollution. Then avoid, that is, burning of substances near the civilian areas. Near your areas, you need to avoid the burning of substances. See, if there are a lot of people staying and you're burning lot of things near to your house, what happens? The air get polluted and you will suffer from lot of diseases. Okay, so you need to avoid the burning near the civilian areas. These are the measures to prevent air pollution. Once again, I repeat, that is, we need to prevent mixing up of chemicals, waste discharges by the factories with air. Then we need to install, that is, long chimneys in the factories so that smoke releases at higher altitude. Use of gaseous fuels instead of coal, diesel and petrol. Use of public transport. Use of natural resources like solar energy, hydroelectric power and wind power. And avoid burning of substances near civilian areas. This was the chapter about, that is, air. Now, let's go with some question answers. Okay, these are some questions that you need to learn and students write in your classworks. These are very important question answers. Okay, first question, let's go with the first question. What is atmosphere? Earth is surrounded by the layer of air and it is called as atmosphere. What it is? Earth is surrounded by layer of air and it is called as what? Atmosphere. What is atmosphere? Earth is surrounded by the layer of air and it is called as atmosphere. What does the air contain? What are the content of air? Air is a mixture of gases. Air is the mixture of gases such as nitrogen, carbon dioxide, oxygen, dust particle and inert gases. It is a mixture of gases like nitrogen, carbon dioxide, oxygen, dust particles and inert gases. Let's go with the third question. Which is the major component of air? Major component of air is nitrogen. What is the percentage of nitrogen in the air, students? That is 98%. The major component of air is nitrogen. What happens when the tire of a vehicle gets punctured? What happens when the tire of vehicle gets punctured? The vehicle cannot move if the air inside the tire comes out. What happens if the air inside the tire comes out? It gets punctured, and in the flat area we cannot run the vehicle, so the vehicle cannot move if the air inside the tire gets comes out. Okay. Write three measures to prevent air pollution. What are the measures to prevent air pollution? That is use of public transport like cycles. Install tall chimneys in the factories so that smoke can release at higher altitude. Use of gaseous fuel instead of coal, petrol and diesel. These are the three measures to prevent, that is, air pollution. Okay. Then let's go for another question. What are the characteristics of air? What are the characteristics of air? Air helps things to burn. Air helps things to burn. Air occupies space. Air occupies space. Air has weight. These are the characteristics of air. Now, what is wind? Moving air is called as wind. Moving air is called as wind. And one more thing about wind is it has enormous energy. What it has? Enormous energy. This was about this topic. Hope you have understood this chapter very well. Homework will be submitted. Homework will be given. Submit it as early as possible. Okay. Bye. Take care, students.